Did you know, guys? The most potent laser weapon the US Army has ever tested will be displayed next year. It will have a 300 kilowatt output. The device is being constructed by General Atomics Electromagnetic Systems, or GAEMS, and Boeing, which is the size of a shipping container and mounted on a large truck. According to Scott Forney, president of GAEMS, the high-power compact laser weapon will provide a fatal output greater than anything fielded to date. The first high-energy laser weapon, known as LOS, with a reported 30 kilowatt power, was deployed by the US Navy on the USS Ponce in 2014. The new weapon is a huge improvement over most military lasers, which typically range from 30 to 100 kilowatts and are mostly suitable for shooting down small drones. But do you know what exactly a laser weapon is? More than any other type of focused energy weapon, lasers are accompanied with lofty hopes and huge promises. There are upfront development expenditures and significant electrical power requirements for lasers to be used as a weapon. Once those two obstacles have been overcome, a laser may offer an exceptionally favorable cost per shot ratio, since the powerful light beams may easily penetrate more expensive targets. There are many ways to shoot down drones, loitering weapons, and missiles. Still, the less expensive these weapons are, the more difficult it is to effectively counter them with a less expensive missile interceptor. The more difficult aspect of this problem is interception, since a countering weapon must follow the incoming target and accelerate to destroy it. The technology utilized for onboard sensing and steering, which blows up when used, presents these difficulties. As a less expensive alternative to intercepting with missiles, CRAM technologies, CRAM technologies, or counter-rocket artillery mortar, like the Phalanx weapon system deployed since the 1980s, pair quick-firing guns with radar sensors. However, that cost analysis could be further distorted by the use of lasers. Naturally, the weapon is primarily designed to be defensive rather than attacking. But according to Lockheed, the laser can repel tiny rockets, artillery rounds, mortars, unmanned aerial vehicles, small attack boats, and light ground vehicles that are deployed within a mile of the laser. Although it's a little too near for comfort, this is merely the beginning of far bigger things. Our technologies will be able to neutralize larger threats over longer distances as fiber laser power levels rise. In other words, some targets, including crewed planes or cruise missiles, require this much power from lasers to even be destroyed. On the other hand, a strong laser allows it to destroy other targets at a greater range, such as smaller drones or artillery rounds. Time spent on the target or dwell is vital for a laser's ability to quickly disable or kill what it is hitting. A significantly less potent variant of Lockheed's laser weapon, measuring 30 kilowatts, was unveiled by the US Navy in December 2014. The Laser Weapon System, or LOS, which was fired from the USS Ponce or LPD-15, was designed to obliterate moving boats. The first high-energy laser weapon, known as LOS, with a reported 30 kilowatt power, was deployed by the US Navy on the USS Ponce in 2014. The new weapon is a huge improvement over most military lasers, which typically range from 30 to 100 kilowatts and are mostly suitable for shooting down small drones. Such weapons typically consist of several industrial fiber lasers that are integrated into a single beam. Instead, the new weapons make use of numerous connected big glass labs. Due to waste heat and beam quality issues, such labs had historically been difficult to employ. According to GAEMS, connecting them in series resolves these problems and eliminates the need to mix beams from various fiber lasers. The US Army research to create defensive lasers that can destroy approaching threats includes the new laser. A 10 kilowatt laser was shown to be more powerful than tiny mortar rounds the previous year. According to Justin Bronk of the UK security think tank Royal United Services Institute, the more potent laser can engage multiple and larger targets quickly. According to the filing, the technology will differ from present-day lasers in that it will use minimal energy and create brief pulses. That indicates that instead of the continuous energy beams utilized by most lasers today, it will shoot light bursts resembling bullets. The Army thinks that this approach is more effective at downing targets like cruise missiles because it gives the fatal blow faster. The new weapon would melt a target in 1/4,000,000th of a second instead of present lasers, which must focus on a target for a few seconds. The cannon would fire 1 trillion watts of energy in that brief period, which is more than 80 times as much energy as the space shuttle at launch. It would then be the laser on Earth with the greatest power. According to the Army, unlike conventional lasers, the weapon would eliminate targets through 3 mechanisms. They consist of vaporizing the object at its surface and pounding it with the blast wave brought on by the ensuing rapid gas expansion. What does the extremely potent laser platform accomplish? Because it will emit brief pulses that rely on low energy, the Tactical Ultra-Short Pulse Laser or UPSL platform will be distinct from the existing laser systems. Modern lasers often produce continuous beams. The new technology is intended to reach a terawatt for 200 femtoseconds, or 1 quadrillionth of a second in a brief period of time. The UPSL would be able to vaporize a drone during that time. Additionally, it is hoped that it will be able to interfere with nearby electrical equipment, making it a functional electromagnetic pulse or EMP. According to sources, the US hopes to test a prototype by 2022, but according to New Scientist, these kinds of laser weapons are quite effective against swiftly moving small drones or missiles. And when used on human adversaries, they may result in a range of side effects, from skin rashes to blindness. In order to employ a UPSL on Army platforms, it must be large enough, powerful enough, and tough enough, according to a brief describing the future laser system. In addition, unlike current laser systems, this kind of laser might evaporate a drone's exterior shell rather than melt it. The military has utilized laser devices before and has even mentioned them. And it's obvious that this kind of weapon is attracting more and more interest as time goes on. One of the US military's top priorities right now is integrating laser weapons technology, especially after the US senators asked the armed forces to accelerate work on directed energy weapons or DEWs in early July. By 2022, the US Army intends to have 2 different types of laser weapon systems for air defense, including weapons of the 50 kilowatt and 300 kilowatt classes installed on General Dynamics Stryker armored vehicles. The DEMSHORAD, or Directed Energy Maneuver Short Range Air Defense, is the name of the 50 kilowatt laser weapon that will be used to fire short-range rockets, artillery, and drones. The 300 kilowatt beams, on the other hand, will be employed to counter cruise missiles. The 50 kilowatt laser weapon system was initially up for grabs between Northrop Grumman and Raytheon. However, Raytheon recently displayed its prototype in May against 60mm mortars and multiple small, medium, and large drones, while Northrop Grumman just withdrew from the program. LANS, or Laser Advancements for Next Generation Compact Environments, a high-energy laser weapon, was delivered to the US Air Force on July 12 by Lockheed Martin. LANS can be installed on an aircraft when combined with a primary laser weapon from Lockheed Martin and a pod carrying LANS from Boeing. Northrop Grumman also supplies the beam control system that directs the laser toward its target. The weapon's tremendous energy output could accumulate in nearby electrical equipment, rendering them useless. According to New Scientist, such a weapon might be quite helpful in fending off drones and small missiles. On the other hand, the weapon might deliver a terrible burn or perhaps temporary or permanent blindness to human adversaries. According to a 1995 pact, laser weapons that blind soldiers are now prohibited. In 2014, the US Navy received its initial laser deployment. According to reports, it wants to test a prototype UPSL by 2022. In other developments, according to leaked documents, the US Navy tested out futuristic technologies such as a space modification weapon. In addition, according to reports, military experts are also working on a laser weapon that can create a voice out of nothing. Additionally, the US Army is testing a 50 kilowatt laser weapon that can destroy missiles, helicopters, planes, and drones. How would you characterize the laser weapon? Comment below.